On the night of November 13, 1992, inside the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas, heavyweight boxing found itself standing at the edge of an era-defining rivalry. Evander Holyfield, the reigning WBC, WBA, and IBF heavyweight champion of the world, entered the ring carrying not just belts, but a reputation built on discipline, heart, and unshakable will. Across from him stood Riddick Bowe, younger, bigger, and brimming with the kind of confidence that comes from believing your time has arrived. What followed was not just a fight, but the opening chapter of one of the most brutal trilogies the heavyweight division has ever known. That first battle set the tone. For 12 savage rounds, Holyfield and Bowe traded punishment with little regard for self-preservation. Bowe's size and power eventually tilted the scales, and when the final bell rang, he walked away with all 3 belts. Holyfield had lost, but he had earned something just as important: respect. Their rematch proved that this rivalry was far from settled. Holyfield returned, sharper, smarter, boxing with greater control and edging a close decision despite Bowe landing more punches. By the time their third meeting was scheduled for November 1995 at Caesar's Palace, it was no longer just about titles. It was about legacy. Thought from the opening moments of the final fight, the tension was unmistakable. Holyfield came out without urgency, not immediately asserting his jab, while Bowe, looking far better conditioned than in their second bout, began snapping his long left hand into Holyfield's face. The jab wasn't just a punch, it was a statement. Bowe doubled and tripled it, mixing head and body, forcing Holyfield to react rather than dictate. The roles appeared reversed, with Bowe pressing and Holyfield absorbing. A dangerous dynamic against a bigger man who knew how to use his weight. As the early rounds unfolded, it became clear this would be no tactical chess match. Holyfield, known for his movement and an on-out rhythm, stood his ground more than expected, trading in the pocket. Bowe welcomed it. Heavy right hands thudded into Holyfield, each one testing his legendary durability. Holyfield answered back with combinations of his own, flashing the speed and precision that had carried him to the top. But the exchanges came at a cost. The pace was relentless, and the punishment cumulative.
Gerade Seite ist gut. Diesmal Holyfield. Noch ein Uppercut von Bowe. Unerschrocken.
By the 4th round, the fight had turned ferocious. Both men planted themselves at center ring, neither willing to retreat, neither searching for the safety of the ropes. Holyfield's punches still carried snap, but signs of fatigue crept into his movement. Bowe, sensing momentum, began unloading heavier artillery. A right hand landed clean, visibly hurting Holyfield and sending a murmur through the crowd. For a moment, it looked as though the tide might finally overwhelm the former champion. Holyfield survived that storm, drawing on the same heart that had defined his career. Then, in a sudden, shocking twist, everything changed. In the midst of a furious exchange, Holyfield fired a crushing left hook. It landed flush. Riddick Bowe, the bigger man, the power puncher, went down hard. The arena erupted as disbelief swept through the crowd. Bowe struggled to his feet, his legs betraying him, his senses clearly shaken. Holyfield pounced, emptying the tank, throwing everything he had in hopes of finishing the fight then and there. It was a moment that encapsulated the essence of Evander Holyfield. Even exhausted, even hurt, he found another gear, fueled by sheer will. But greatness often meets resistance, and Bowe, to his eternal credit, survived. He clinched, he covered up, and he endured the onslaught. The storm passed, and as the rounds wore on, it became clear that Holyfield had spent more than he could afford. The gas tank that had carried him through wars before was running dry. The momentum shifted once more, this time decisively. In another close-range exchange, Bowe landed a devastating right hook to Holyfield's jaw. The punch was clean, heavy, and final. Holyfield went down, his body unable to answer the call, despite his indomitable spirit. The fight was over. Riddick Bowe stood victorious, reclaiming his place atop the heavyweight division, while Holyfield, bruised and battered, rose slowly. His courage unquestioned even in defeat. That night cemented the rivalry as one of boxing's most unforgettable. 3 fights, each different, each brutal, each revealing something profound about both men. Holyfield showed the world that heart and determination could carry a fighter into the deepest waters imaginable. Bowe proved that talent paired with resilience could overcome even the most relentless opposition. Together, they produced a trilogy that embodied everything the heavyweight division is meant to represent: power, drama, sacrifice, and legacy. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of boxing's greatest rivalries, let us know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more cinematic boxing stories like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for the next chapter.